So to generate the scripts related to opening QTP with some predefined settings, I'll show you the following navigations. For all the three settings which I showed you, you don't have to write any code for it. QTP will itself generate the code for it. So suppose this is my test, okay? Let's open up any test which we had done in the past. Say for example, let's say basic operations test, okay? This is the test which is created by me, okay? And I want some predefined settings which I want my team to follow. So what I'll do is I will capture these predefined settings in a VBS file. So when I double click on that VBS file, QTP will automatically open with these predefined settings. But how do I capture the predefined settings in the first place? So basic operations is the test for which I want to capture the predefined settings. That is, I want the settings to be exactly the same as it is for basic operations. So the first setting which we saw was QTP settings, okay? So what we'll do is, first of all, I'll save all the three scripts for the three types of settings which I showed you. We will save it in a particular place, and then I'll open the VBS file and then show you what's the code inside it, which will help you understand what are the different settings and what are the operations which are involved in the settings. So I have to go to File, Settings, and then Properties tab, and in Properties tab there'll be a button called a Generate Script. So this button says that click to generate an automation script for the test settings, okay? So what do I mean by saying test settings? Okay, I'll explain each of this. Let's generate the script first. So what I'll do is I'll again save it in my QTP folder, in my scripts folder, and let's make a folder AOM. I'll save it inside this folder. So the first one is the test settings .vbs. Okay, I've saved it. So the next setting is for the QTP options. You have to go to tools. Okay, you have to go to options, and in options you have to go to general tab. So and in general tab there's a button generate script. You have to, so what this button says is click to generate an automation script for the global testing options. So we'll come to it, what are global testing options. It's better if I show it to you with respect to script for better understanding. So I will save this VBS file with the name QTP options. Okay. So I have already saved two VBS files. The third one is for QTP object identification settings, okay? And this we can find in tools, object identification. So the first one was in file, settings, second was in tools, options, and third is in tools, object identification. And there's again a button over here, generate script. So just click on that button and save your file. And I'll name it as object identification settings. Okay, now let's see one by one what this actually mean. I go to QTP, I go to my folder where I've saved these VBS files, and you know how to open VBS files. Okay, the first one which we created was test settings. To right click on test setting, on the file, and click on edit. So QTP will open as a notepad. So this was the file which was created automatically by QTP, and as you can see, this is the code which was generated by QTP. Now let's see what this code has to say. So this is for the test settings. Okay, as you can see, QTP has used object identification, object automation model. I'm sorry, automation object model AOM in order to generate the script. So dim app. So dim is the way of declaring a variable. App is your variable. So dim app declares the variable. Okay, and then we are using this variable app in order to create the QuickTest object. So once the application object is created, then QTP launches it. Visible equal to these things we had already seen, and then you'll see object.test.settings. So this is the hierarchy. Okay, so what is this app? App is the QTP object. So it represents, this object is represents the application itself, and we have app.test.settings. Okay, so as you know that we are going to the settings tab, and in settings we on properties we created generate script. So basically what if you see the hierarchy, it is the first is the QuickTest object dot test dot settings dot launcher launchers web dot active. So what you understand from this is we have certain settings which were predefined in QTP for which were predefined for this script. So if you go to your automation record and run settings, you'll see that we have kept some default settings for the script. That is this is applicable for all the scripts. We had kept for the script and the setting says that you have to open the following address when a record or run session begins. So this was the default. This is the flight application, web-based flight application, which we had kept as the default. So in the notepad also you can see that this was the launcher address which was set. The browser was IE. So I hope that these things make sense to you. I won't go through each and every line of the code, but because you don't have to write on your own, QTP itself does, but you will get the idea of what is application object model. So you can see disable smart identification. It is false for our script. The default libraries which are attached with our script. So if you go to our script and in resources associated function libraries, you will see the default function libraries which are associated with our script. You can add more, but these two are already associated. So what this notepad, what this VBS file is saying, when you double click, QTP will open with these predefined settings for a blank test, okay, for a new test. So in this way, what you can do is, suppose you are the team leader and you want to follow certain protocol in the team, you can save these settings in a particular notepad. You can share this notepad, that is the VBS file, to your team and ask everyone to not to open QTP manually, but to by double clicking on this VBS file, so that QTP opens with certain predefined settings. So this was some of the basic stuffs about test settings. Okay, the next we saw was QTP options. So I didn't explain you each of them at earlier, because if you see by the script itself is self-explanatory, and you'll get a better idea when you look at the scripts. So same way we are QTP has created a variable called as app, which is the object for the QTP, and using that object it has performed different operations, and it has recorded different presettings which are with the test which I have opened for QTP.